up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. We do have a lot of topics to discuss. Firstly, the pursuit of Nico Williams is still on the table. Barcelona actually see him as a priority in the left wing position, but again, we will discuss the logistics and details behind that. A pursuit for Jonathan Tah as well is very much in the advanced stages, and also maybe potential pursuit for Joshua Kimmich as well. That of course isn't linked with the future of Frenkie de Jong. We will discuss that. Player sales as well, with two center backs basically on the edge of the door, with the new German center back coming in. Lewandowski's future now is in question for the billionth time. Will he stay or leave with the club trust him for another season or not? Other, logistic news: Pablo Torre, Dani, Olmo registrations, some big injury updates, and also some big news on the return of Thiago Alcantara to the Barcelona coaching bench. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. Now, the biggest news that we do have is Barcelona's first signing of the 2025 calendar year is on the verge of completion, and it is Jonathan Tah. Now, first the news broke from Robert Lewandowski of Mundo Deportivo, and he came out saying that Barcelona will sign Jonathan Tah in the summer of 2025, as talks are in the very advanced stages for his deal. He'll have a contract until 2030. The decision can be made public in the coming week. So again, there is very close to an agreement. Nothing signed quite yet. Of course, we failed with this with Rodriguez last summer. We agreed everything. It was all done. Wasn't signed. In the end, the deal fell through. So you never know with these kind of free agent deals. Right now, we're in the very advanced stages. Deal's not agreed yet. Then you have to sign it. Then you have to announce it. But again, we are getting closer to that point. And also, Fabrizio Romano confirmed it as well, saying that Barcelona are making progress in negotiations to sign Jonathan Tah as a free agent for July 2025. He won't be coming in January, which begin in November. Are advancing well, with Hansi Flick being involved. A January move is not being considered right now. So we're getting close to Jonathan Tah. That does mean, of course, there'll be a few center backs leaving. We'll talk about that later on. But on the profile of Tah, I think he's a good option. But then again, I do ask, why do we want to have so many, the center backs that are on the older side? Your Inigos. You have now, of course, Tah. Whether you keep Christensen or not, or Eric Garcia or not. I don't really like the idea of having both Tah and Inigo. I think they're very similar profiles in the sense of what Barcelona are looking for, that veteran center back with experience that can, play well when called upon. So having them two is a bit strange, especially with Inigo probably gonna be leaving next summer in 2026. Now, of course, this summer, he probably earned this, what he's done this year, he'll probably get a year extension on his contract. So really no longevity in these two deals, apart from, of course, Jonathan Tah. He's signed for almost a five-year deal. That means he's in it for the long run. So I think in terms of the player, I don't mind it. I think he's a great center back. He's a good utility player that can come off the bench, start games when we have injuries as well. I have no issue with that. Player that the manager also wants as well. But just having him and Inigo, for me, this isn't quite right. Because then again, we're gonna have to get rid of Inigo in a year, then bring in another 4 center back, or maybe hopefully we can shift Kunde in the middle and get some fullbacks in. So I guess there's pros and cons to it all. I would say there's more on the pro side than the con, but we'll wait and see how things do turn out. But again, the signing of Jonathan Tah to Barcelona as a free agent is in the advanced stages and could be done in that first 2 months of the new year. Now, another German free agent that Barcelona are keeping an eye on, of course, no talks whatsoever with him, but the option is attracting to the club, and that is Joshua Kimmich. Now again, Robert Lewandowski of Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Joshua Kimmich remains on the club's radar. Hansi Flick would be open to bring him in as long as he fits within the club's salary limits. The player has yet to decide whether he will stay or leave Bayern Munich. The German club have given the player an ultimatum to clarify his decision. So Kimmich does not know whether he's going to leave Bayern or not. And again, Flick is very open to having him as long as he can fit in the club's wage structure. It really comes down to, again, Barcelona having that call or not. And for me personally, I think Kimmich is a good player, but I don't see him coming in if someone leaves, i.e. I'm talking about your boy Frenkie de Jong. If Frenkie de Jong walks, you want to bring in Kimmich for free, no problem with that whatsoever. Bringing Kimmich to what we already have would be absolutely idiotic. But if someone does leave, I think Kimmich coming in as a free agent would definitely be capitalizing on a market opportunity. So we'll wait and see. Again, no talks, no discussions, no move whatsoever. Just Barcelona keeping an eye on how things will go in regards to Kimmich's future this summer. Now, one of the priorities for Barcelona in the upcoming summer transfer window is, of course, the reinforcement of a left winger. And yet again, the name of Nico Williams gaining a lot of momentum in the media, with Deco Bernabeu of Sport coming out saying that Nico Williams is still Barcelona's priority signing for next summer. Nico Williams wants to sign for Barcelona, and Barcelona will sign a winger, and he is their top priority. If he does not renew his contract with Athletic Club and his release clause does not change or increase whatsoever, they will go all out to sign him this summer. Now, I will say this is a bit of Spanish PR, because it's quite clear that Laporta is looking at both Rafael Leão and Nico Williams, not just Nico Williams, but it is the Spanish media saying that, oh, they'll come about Nico Williams. First, we had Tony Juan Martí in the last video. Now, Deco Bernabeu, two reputable sources in the Spanish media, both gunning for a big Spanish club like Barcelona to sign a big Spanish talent like Nico Williams. Not taking away from Nico Williams, I think he's a good player. Again, a bit of a down season for him this season. Hasn't been living up to his quality that we saw from him last season. And again, I'm not surprised by this. I said this all summer long. If the price is the same, I think we'll go back in for him the next summer after that. It's quite clear that we did not sign him this past summer because he wanted to stay at Athletic Club. I think if he said yes, he would have joined, and probably Dani Olmo wouldn't have came to Barcelona. I think that would have is what happened. But in the end, we're gonna get both players that we wanted last summer. But it's gonna take 2 summers to get it done in a sense. So we'll wait and see. Again, I like the stance where Barcelona had last summer, that the train only comes by once, so the train comes by again. Looks a bit hypocritical from us. I think if we try a few options that don't work out, we get Nico Williams. I don't mind that, but going for him first is where I'm like, what's the point of all the drama that we suffered through like a month and a half last summer? So I'll wait and see what happens with Nico Williams. But again, it's still on the club's agenda, still on the radar for sure, as the club still, are pursuing what targets to really push for in that left wing position. Now, a player in which Barcelona got rid of a few seasons ago, but now are looking to cash in even more money on the player, is Nico Gonzalez. And I think we sold him to Porto for about 8 to 10 million euros, plus of course percent future fail and a sell-on bonus and all this sort of stuff. And looks like we're going to be cashing on that pretty soon, because Fran Martinez and Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Liverpool is considering paying Nico Williams 60 million euro release clause, with Barcelona set to receive 40% of that, which is around 24 million euros of the transfer fee, due to a sell-on clause. The 20-year-old Spanish midfielder has been impressing with Porto, scoring 5 goals and providing 5 assists in 24 games this season. Now, I do believe that Barcelona also have a 40 million euro buyback option on Nico Gonzalez. Again, his release clause is 20 million, so that 24 million difference, makes up for Barcelona not executing their buyback option. Again, we have already good midfielders, and we can sign Kimmich for free and stuff like this. So I think Nico Gonzalez is a great player. Makes you wonder why Xavi sold him in the first place. I think he really works well in a double pivot, not a single pivot. And now that we pay a double pivot, he would work really well. But then again, when we saw him at the time, it didn't really work out. But we'll see. Liverpool will go for him. I don't think this is gonna happen. It's just a bit of noise. Like, why would you spend 60 on Nico when you can spend 60 on Zubamendi, or maybe half of that on Kimmich to get him out in January, stuff like that. But the rumors are there. They're not as strong as I would like to see, but the fact that the Spanish media is talking about it, I think bodes well. So keep your eyes on Nico Gonzalez. If he makes any move in January, Barcelona do get a cut of that deal. Now, one of the big reinforcements that Barcelona are looking at this summer alongside a left winger is, of course, a left fullback, or you could say fullbacks in general, a position in which the fans really want Barcelona to strengthen this summer. Now, Sport have come out saying that Tyrick Mitchell of Crystal Palace, Alvaro Garcia of Benfica, and Hugo Bueno of Feyenoord are on the radar for the left back position. Alphonso Davies remains out of reach, and Mitchell, without a contract expiring in June, is a top candidate. Now, this is the shit that I was talking about in the last video. We need world-class fullbacks, not these random fullbacks that have potential or on a free or this and that. I mean, there's a reason why fucking Crystal Palace are not re-signing Tyrick Mitchell. There's a reason why Alvaro Carrias left Man United to go to Benfica. Again, he's Spanish as well. Hugo Bueno as well, Spanish as well. It's just, I'm sick to death of it. I've never in my life seen Barcelona sign a world-class fullback. And Dani Alves, he wasn't world-class at the time. He became world-class at Barcelona. Semedo was crap. Vidal was crap. Couldn't be signed as a center back, so I don't really count that. Even left backs as well. Jordi Alba was, big potential, had a really good season. Then we signed him, then we made him one of the best left backs in the world. I think it's time. I'm not saying we splash, 50, 60 million on a fullback, but splash some money. Get, 20, 30 million out there. Bring someone in who can provide good options. And again, I was one of the only few people last summer twerking for Joao Cancelo, and now I'm seeing random rumors about Cancelo coming back. Everyone's saying, oh, bring back Cancelo, he was so good. Fuck off. I told you guys last summer, 20 million for Cancelo is an absolute steal. Yes, liability defensively, sure, not taking that away from him. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but someone to provide just that extra finesse going forward. His ability going forward, reading the game, intricate plays, his movement and ability, and also his tenaciousness in the final third is a rarity. It is a fullback. I think he's the best fullback we've signed since Dani Alves, despite the fact he only lasted 1 season at Barcelona. Yes, he was absolutely terrible in that last 2 months, but that first 6 months he was sublime. He was a breath of fresh air. Seeing a fullback just bomb up and down, whether he's, defensively not looking good or maybe tackling sometimes, misplaced passes, he was still doing his job both at right back and left back. He is the perfect option. Would I go back for him now? I mean, I doubt UNCLEAR will let him go, but if he's available for that same price, maybe even a bit cheaper, fuck yes, I would go for him. Imagine getting Cancelo for like 10 to 15 million, 2-3 years out of hand. Then you can bring in, another big fullback as well for around 30 million euros. Then you're sorted. You have Hector Fort. Kochen will hopefully be playing, center back and right back. You have Balde, we don't have to rely upon because he's so inconsistent. But I think Barcelona the ball slipped with Cancelo last summer, but I don't know if we could have afforded him or not. That's a topic for a different day. Alphonso Davies would be great, but again, him wanting, a $250,000 a week ain't gonna really fly in our wage cap, and I just don't think that having him and Balde is a bit too much. That's too good of competition. I think one of them will leave in the end. If you want to bring in Davies and chuck Balde, I'd be hard to argue against keeping Balde. I'd only argue against keeping him because, he's a great talent. He's come from the academy. We've given him a chance. He wants to give it back to us. But this is what I mean. This is Mitchell and Alvaro. It's just shit that we don't need. We need quality in this position. And I'm afraid that Barcelona don't see it that way. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I think, again, we're going to get these Mark Pubil, Hugo Bueno crap at fullback. And then we're just going to go with the flow and hope one of them blow up into something big. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First up is, of course, center backs with the not imminent signing, but the expected signing of Jonathan Tah in 2025. There will be some center backs leaving Barcelona, and Robert Lewandowski Mundo Deportivo came out saying that it's very possible that one of Eric Garcia or Andreas Christensen will leave Barcelona this summer. I think that's very poor wording from Mr. Toledo. I don't think it's or, I think it's both. Or I should say, I think it's and. I think both of them are going to be out, which sucks. I mean, I like Christensen. I think he's a really good player. Just can't stay fit to save his life. Wait and see what happens when he comes back. If he comes back and gets injured in that first month or 2 months that he comes back, I think he's absolutely cooked. Eric Garcia, good little player, but I think we already have better than Eric. So I think he I think the level has kind of overshadowed him a bit. But if it was up to me, I'd let go of Eric and Inigo. I think Inigo, great season. I think that's it from him. I think he can get maybe one more year at Inigo, where Christensen, of course, has longevity. Imagine having Kubarsi, Araujo, Christensen, and Tah as your 4 center back option. That is beyond elite, and that is, I think, at a high level for competition as well. Christensen can also play in the midfield if needs be. Araujo can cover right back, if needs be. I think that'll be a much probable option than get rid of Eric Garcia and Christensen now, and then get rid of Inigo a year later. I think the reason why is, of course, the club want to bring in some money with Christensen. He has, of course, a good value, especially in England, coming in for free for Barcelona in 2022. Whatever we sell him for is pure net profit for FFP, which bodes well. Same with Eric Garcia as well. For the pair of them, if you're really, really good, you can get probably 40 to 50 million euros, and that would, of course, bode very well for Barcelona. They could probably just suffer with Inigo for another year and then move on. So we'll wait and see. I do expect both of them to leave. I think that is pretty much guaranteed in my head. The fact that he's saying or here, I think he's keeping it very, very vague. I think they will both leave this summer, and I would be shocked if they're both, or even if, say, one of them in a Blaugrana shirt going into next season, the 25-26 season. Now, in regards to players staying at Barcelona, there is one player that I don't know why, but Barcelona love dying on the hill for, and that is Robert Lewandowski. Now, David Bernabeu of Sport has come out saying that Barcelona plan to sign a winger before signing a striker next summer because the club is still counting on Lewandowski going into next season, the 25-26 season. And I'm not surprised. Like I told you guys in the last video, the club have kind of chopped and changed on this decision about 5,000 times since we signed him in 2022. I think it's quite clear at this point that he won't leave and the club is happy to keep him. I think if he says, I want to leave, the club like, you know what, if you want to leave, by all means, crack on, thanks for what you've done. But I don't think the club will ever even consider for a second pushing him out. Even if we get an offer, I don't think the club would let him go. The fact that Lewandowski offered to, reduce his salary last summer to help Barcelona with FFP, and Barcelona told him no, shows how much respect the club do have for him. So get it used to your head. Lewandowski will be the striker next season. I have no doubt about that. I think just hopefully building a super team, or a great team around him, should I say, and hoping that he just clicks for longer than 2 months. Again, we'll wait and see. He could come in, January, hat-trick against Barbasto, win us a Super Cup and all this stuff, and people would not bat an eye. He's on the verge of becoming the top goal scorer this whole entire calendar year as well for Barcelona in a season where we won absolutely fuck all. That is a huge achievement in my book. Something that not something I'm gonna glaze about or cherish, but something that I'm gonna recognize. Getting the European Golden Boot for the year in this Barcelona team, but of course we were shy for the first 8 months, had a good month or two, shows how much of a killer he is in goal when he's on it. The issue is that it's very sporadic. One day he'll be on it, looking like he's back when he was 28 years old at Bayern Munich. Next minute he'll look like that Sarabia is calling his name. So that's the problem with Lewandowski. That's probably the problem with this whole entire team, if I'm being honest. But we'll wait and see with Lua, but the expectation is that he will continue at Barcelona for at least one more season after this one. Now, another player that's also committing his imminent future to Barcelona for the foreseeable future is Pablo Torre. Now, Rochadero Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Pablo Torre intends to stay at Barcelona until the end of the season. He knows the season is long, and with the Copa del Rey starting after the holidays, he hopes to get more opportunities. Things could change if the club suggests he leaves or if a tempting offer makes him reconsider, but Pablo Torre is also aiming to make it into the Spanish squad. He knows that to achieve this, he needs to play more minutes and perform at a high level. We've seen so many cases of Pablo Torres at Barcelona. I can name you 5 off the top of my head. A young midfielder who shows great talent but never gets the opportunity. The difference is that those 5 players I'm thinking about, they all came through the academy. We nurtured them since they were young. We sprouted them out into what they are today. We bought Pablo Torre for 20 million euros 2 years ago. I think it was 5 million plus like 15 in variables from, I forget, Sporting something. Not Sporting Kochen, I think it was something else, but he was a big talent in the Segunda Division. We were fighting with Real Madrid to sign him. We signed him in the end. He was a great player, but he just doesn't get the opportunity. And I'm seeing, all these inconsistent players that we have in this team, and for Pablo Torre to never even get a chance. I think in the last 5 games, he didn't even make a single appearance, and that for me is borderline criminal. I don't think his Flick doesn't trust him. I think that Flick is just scared to really call upon this squad depth. I think Pablo Torre, unfortunately, in my opinion, has no future at Barcelona. Of course, this is in regard to what I think. This is what I think the club is thinking. He'll get his chance in the Copa del Rey against Barbasto. He'll play 60 minutes. He'll play alright. He'll get hooked with half an hour to go. We'll never see him again. That's just the cycle of this kind of play that we always have at Barcelona. I think if we get any good offer for him, we should take it because it ain't going to come ever again. But I think past this season, we won't see Pablo Torre for Barcelona. That's sad because I think he's a really good player. I think he's definitely of the quality of Barcelona. But I don't think it's about the chances. I just think it's about the lack of trust from the manager on his squad depth. But we'll wait and see. There is, of course, a massive opportunity. He can go and score a hat-trick, drop a 10 out of 10 masterclass, and things could change. But I see it very difficult for Pablo Torre to have any success at Barcelona, unfortunately. Let's now discuss some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. The reason why I hold my head in, shame and disappointment is about the fucking a billion time that this shark has gotten injured this season. The club released an official statement a few days after the match against Atletico Madrid, saying that first team player Ferran Torres finished the game last Saturday with muscle discomfort. Given the persistence of the discomfort, he just had an MRI, which has determined that he had a small injury in the soles of his right leg. The evaluation of his condition will determine his availability. Miguel came out saying he's out for 3 weeks. I cannot bear with this twat. The issue is that Hansi Flick glazes the shit out of him in press conferences and in the media as well. If you look at the reports in the media over the past 2 weeks, oh, Flick erased Ferran Torres' mentality. Oh, he's a shark in training. Oh, he likes how he wants to fight for a spot. Then you have Ferran Torres talking in the media. I see myself more as a striker. I want to fight for a team in a spot in the first team. Motherfucker can't even say fit. This is his 3rd injury this season, and his 3rd injury that has kept him out for a month. He comes back from injury thinking, all right, we got some sort of depth. 3 goals in 3 games. Twats off for another month. It's just, where's the stability? Where is the consistency with this guy? Problems we're stuck with him because we paid so much for it. This, I think, probably is one of the biggest flops that we've ever had. What I say was a mistake under Joan Laporta, a little bit. Not to look into, you know, maybe his mentality, his track record, but at the time, he looked like a great signing for 55 million, paid in installments, looked like an absolute killer deal. He probably had a good 6 months first coming in because we just had nothing. We went from, you know, Elias Akumatch, Serginho Dest, Ferran Jucla to Ferran Torres, so it was a massive jump. But boy, oh boy, does this man suck. Nonetheless, I mean, he's irrelevant, so we'll wait and see what happens. The big one, of course, we are looking forward to is the return of Lamine Yamal. Nahan Miguel, also from ASKML, saying Lamine Yamal will travel with the team to Saudi Arabia for the Spanish Super Cup, but his participation in the semifinal against Athletic Club is unclear. It's most likely that he will not start the game. I don't care. As long as he's on that flight, fit 1,000,000,000% for a potential final, if we make it, that's all what matters to me. The job of the team is to get to the final. It's the job of Lamine Yamal to be fit for the final and win us the final. That is how I see it. And as soon as he got injured against Atletico Madrid, I said it in the match review, I said in the first video after the game as well. Get him on that plane to Saudi. That's all that matters. If he's on that plane, I think that's a W. I don't really think we need... let me word this properly. I don't think he will make a difference if he plays or not against Athletic Club. I think we're going to beat Athletic Club. It comes down to our own merit. It comes down to our own consistency. I don't think he will make that difference. But in a potential final against Real Madrid, he will make the difference. And that's what we need him for that game. Maybe Mallorca. You never know. Probably not. But again, hopefully he'll be fit for the final. And the final injury we do have, a bit of a positive one, is on Marc Bernal, with Tony Martin coming out saying that Marc Bernal is ahead of schedule in his recovery. Despite this, the club is, you know, being extremely cautious. The goal for Bernal is to return to playing next September. Whether he'll be fit for preseason or not, I think remains unclear. He could do maybe a little bit of a Gavi, what Gavi did this season, where he misses preseason but comes back at the beginning of the season. But we'll wait and see. He also mentioned on his contract saying that at the end of September, he officially announced that the club announced that Bernal extended his contract until 2026. However, there's an agreement in place that extended to 2029. The club sees Marc Bernal not just an important player now, but also a key part in the future. Having a player like him will be huge. He's a player that we obviously missed in the team right now. But of course, that gave us a chance to see Marc Casado more often. So I wouldn't say win-win, but silver lining to come through of this. But very excited to see Marc Bernal next season. He has had a schedule. I think it'll be great for him to be on that plane to Asia for preseason, if of course he can make it. But of course, with an injury like this, you have to take it very slow. You have to be very, very cautious and come back whenever you're ready. Whether it's preseason, September, October, November, does not matter. Return when you are at 1,000% ready. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First piece of news we do have is in regards to Thiago Alcantara's return to the Barcelona bench. Of course, was seen in the stands for the match against Atletico Madrid, and his return to the bench now is, of course, underway. Alex Pentel from Merlivo has come out saying that Thiago has not forgotten Barcelona or the learning opportunity he was given during preseason, and neither has Hansi Flick, who continues to keep him in mind. Over this time, Thiago and Hansi have stayed in touch, even through video calls, and Barcelona acknowledged that they are considering bringing him back. They value the positive connection that he had with the players and his special connection and relationship with Hansi Flick. Thiago's possible return wouldn't affect Arnau Blanco, who currently, of course, replaced him in the team. Thiago is thinking it over. He's weighing several factors before making a final decision about his future. So again, like we already knew, he's going to leave in August. He's going to potentially come back in January. He had to deal with some tax issue in England or whatever the case may be. But now the option of his returning is on the table. And it's down to his decision and also maybe the decision of the Barcelona staff as well, if Hansi Flick wants to return or not. Maybe again, having too many is going to be difficult. I don't know what it is. But the options are being weighed up, and we'll wait and see what the final decision is being made. I do hope Thiago comes back. I think he was very important for Barcelona in preseason. Again, a player with great quality that, you know, came through the ranks, that knows everything about Barcelona. Again, the language barrier as well would be absolutely huge. I think right now Westerman is kind of the liaison, but having someone like Thiago who knows everything, knows the city, knows the club, knows how everything is run, is much better than having just someone just translating, you know, get that emotion in the words and stuff like that. So we'll wait and see. But again, it really comes down to Thiago himself making that decision, and we'll wait and see what he does end up deciding. Now, in some other news, there is a player at Barcelona who the club believe will be the next big thing in the future, and they've been talking about this for, I would say, quite a few years now, and that is Diego Kochen. Now, Sport have come out saying that Diego Kochen is making waves with the Barcelona B team. He's seen as a future star for both club and country. He of course played and started in goal for the Barca Athletic match against Athletic Bilbao's B team. I think the game ended 1-1 or a 2-1 win, but he had absolutely fantastic performance in between the sticks, and this is someone that the club have been hyping up and discussing for quite some time now. You can look at my videos from a year ago, 2 years ago, and I've mentioned the reports, what they say internally about Kochen. I've seen a few games from him in the B team, of course, some in the first team as well in preseason, in those friendly games like against Club America and Boca Juniors and stuff like that. But again, the club really do rate him, and the reason why I bring this up is that this could be the answer for our goalkeeper solution, because we're talking about signing, you know, a keeper like Thiago Costa from Porto, or you know, anyone else, Dibu, but maybe relying in the academy could be a big asset as well. You of course have Astralaga, who's right now ahead of Kochen in the pecking order, so to speak. But again, the ability of him is being highly ranked, even in USA during the national team. They talk about him. He gets called up to the national team all the time as well. We could be having a big talent on our hands that should be definitely under our radar. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss for the end of this video is in regards to Pablo Victor and Dani Olmo's registration heading into the new year. Now, Rostadero of Mundo Deportivo came out saying that the club is optimistic about taking the legal route to register Dani Olmo, especially since the same judge allowed Gary's registration back in 2023. Several clubs have shown interest in Dani Olmo's situation. However, neither the player nor his agents are considering leaving Barcelona. Both Dani Olmo and Pablo Victor are expected to remain part of the first team come January the 1st, as Barcelona works hard to make it happen. Again, we think we're going to get the hearing on Friday, I believe tomorrow, in fact, December 27th, to see what the ruling is from the judge. And we never know, because if this does go well, the club potentially could go to the market to sign someone in January, because Tony Marti has come out saying that a few weeks ago, Hansi Flick has expressed that if there was a chance to sign a player in January, it could be beneficial to bring in a defensive midfielder with physical presence and stamina. Flick is very happy with the performance of Marc Casado in front of the defense. However, his injuries and lack of rotation have made it difficult for Casado to rest at times, leaving the player tired. As of now, Barcelona's situation is clear. They are not expected to move anyone in the winter transfer market, no ins, no outs, and the focus is entirely on the registration of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. Now, I do want to say this. I really hate Barcelona's obsession with this physical powerhouse midfielder crap, because we always obsess about it for about a year. We sign someone, then we let them go a year later. Seydou Keita, Rakitic, Vidal, Franck Kessié. It always happens, and it just never ever lasts for some sort of reason, whether they get a good offer, or we have to clear the wage bill, or they're too old. I really hate this persona that Barcelona need a physical defensive powerhouse midfielder. That's not the case. We just need numbers. I think if Bernal was fit, this wouldn't be an issue. And I understand why the Flick is seeing this, because there is absolutely no replacements right now for Casado in the midfield. You can have Eric Garcia, sure. You can have Christensen, sure, but they're not natural options. They're makeshift options. And having someone natural is, of course, better than having a makeshift option. But I think we're at a case now where those makeshifts will have to make do, because, you know, going onside a midfielder in January when we need a left winger, we need fullbacks, it's just not feasible right now. But I understand what Flick's saying, so he is telling the club, like, look, if you can sign someone, that'd be nice. But the club are saying, look, our full focus is on the registration of Pau Victor and Dani Olmo. If we get those done very quickly, though, in the first maybe a week or so, you never know what happens in the rest of the window. Maybe a big offer comes in for Eric Garcia, or maybe we advance the Jonathan Tah signing. There could be crazy things that do happen, but again, the plan right now is for no ins, no outs in January, and the sole focus is on the registration, or re-registration, should I say, of our two previous summer signings. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Main thing I want to see, of course, is your thoughts on Nico Williams. Would you go for him again, or look at other options first? Secondly, on Joshua Kimmich, would you go Frankie de Jong to bring in Kimmich on a free transfer? Thirdly, your thoughts on Lewandowski. Think he should stay or leave the club this summer, and what would you do in consequence of that? And finally, your thoughts on the return of Thiago to the coaching bench. You think it will happen or not? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca. Go,